here go some interesting questions. This first one really is because it deals with illegal residents that have been here for like 25 years, and what would he do with them? And in my opinion, somebody that's been here for 25 years, you got to make a way for them, you know, to stay here and not have to go back to their former country. 25 years, what are you going to do with them? Stick them on a plane, fly the plane in there and drop them off? Number one, whatever country they're coming from is probably not going to want to allow you to bring them in there. You're not going to be able to put them on a commercial flight because they wouldn't be able to clear the airport. They would probably just stick them back on a plane and send them back over, so you'd be playing footsie with them. But anyway, here's this section regarding people that have been here for like 25 years, and I believe they're from Ecuador.
On top of that, Jamie Heckman Ulloa, she's from West Sayville, New York, a registered Republican, married, 3 kids, still undecided.
My relative is a natural-born American in the military deployed in Oman. His father and his stepmother are undocumented citizens here in the undocumented people here in the United States for the last 25 years without any way of adjusting their status. If you're president, what will you do for those members that are of our fabric of our country that have been here for 25 years undocumented? Won't they be deported under your plan?
When you say natural-born citizen, it's interesting because why do you mention that? I assume that you were born here, but why do you mention that? Because you know who always says that? Ted Cruz. Because he was born in Canada and lived there for 4 years. People are trying to figure. So he always says, I'm a natural-born citizen, when actually he's not. Because he was born in Canada. But you know what? He has no path right now. So
what's your plan for my relatives?
They've been here how many years?
About 25 years.
So we're going to do something for people that have been here. Look, we're either going to have a country or we're not going to have a country. But many people are very fine people, and I'm sure these are very, very fine people. They're going to go, and we're going to create a path where we can get them into this country legally, okay? But it has.
So he's just said that he's going to deport people that have lived here for 25 years. In-fucking-credible.
Has to be done legally.
But you
Otherwise,
will
we don't have a
deport them
country.
first,
They're
correct?
going to be, and they're going to come back, and they're going to come back legally. We have some wonderful people. It's too tough to say you'll never come back again. They're coming back, but they're coming back into our country legally. So important. Now, that might not be the perfect answer for you, but am I going to get your vote?
By the way, they are from Ecuador, and I'm organizing the relief effort for Ecuador.
Well, enough of that piece. All right, now here's an interesting question that they got from on Twitter.
Read it as a quote on a hot button issue here. Mr. Trump, please be specific. Tell us your views on LGBT, how you plan to be inclusive as president. Speak about North Carolina bathroom law in particular.
Oh, I had a feeling that question was going to come up, I will tell you. Well, look, North Carolina did something that was very strong, and they're paying a big price, and there's a lot of problems. And I heard one of the best answers I heard was from a commentator yesterday saying, leave it the way it is right now. There have been very few problems. Leave it the way it is. North Carolina, what they're going through with all of the business that's leaving and all of the strife, and that's on both sides. You leave it the way it is. There have been very few complaints the way it is. People go, they use the bathroom that they feel is appropriate. There has been so little trouble, and the problem with what happened in North Carolina is the strife and the economic punishment that they're taking. So I would say that's
transgender people working in your organization?
I don't know.
No?
I really don't know. I probably do. I really don't know.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses?
That is correct.
See, now, that's the danger of Donald Trump. That answer is a rational and reasonable answer, and his GOP buddies can't accept that answer. But that's an answer that will get him independents that are on the fence. That would probably push them more in his direction, as well as some Democrats, because it's a reasonable answer. You know, on some things he's like ridiculous, but on some things he's reasonable. So you really got to, take a look at him. Now, I looked at him and I can't do it, but I can understand somebody taking a look at him based on that answer and the next answer where he's going to moderate against the traditional Republican position.
Okay.
Different issue, also a social issue.
There's a big move to create new bathrooms. Problem with that is for transgender. That would be first of all, I think that would be discriminatory in a certain way. It would be unbelievably expensive for businesses and for the country. Leave it the way it is.
Let's talk about abortion, another potent social issue. The Republican platform every 4 years has a provision that states that the right of the unborn child shall not be infringed, and it makes no exceptions for rape, for incest, for the life of the mother. Would you want to change the Republican platform to include the exceptions that you have?
I would. Yes, I would. Absolutely, for the 3 exceptions.
Would you have an exception for the health of the mother?
I would leave it for the life of the mother, but I would absolutely have the 3 exceptions.
Okay, Willie. All right.
Okay, and that's another answer that'll get him independent votes, all right, because, you know, he's moderating the position. Now, it's going to get him obviously in trouble with your hardcore far right GOP people, but it's going to pull in, that answer could pull in a lot of independents and again some Democrats. So, you know, it is what it is. Now here's a question that's interesting, and he answered it, but he kind of hedged a little bit, and it has to do with the Wall Street meltdown.
Democratic side of things, the huge issue is Wall Street banks. I mean, they're firing at each other on that subject. You're a guy who said you know the Wall Street bankers better than anyone.
Better than anyone.
All right. After the 2008 financial meltdown, do you think any of the guys you know better than anyone should have been in jail?
So it's a question I've heard so often, I've been asked so often, and the answer is if they did something purposely illegal, the answer is absolutely yes. Now, with all of that being said,
they did something purposely because they knew they were selling the derivatives that were backed by worthless mortgages. So, and they traded them anyway, and then they turned around and sold them off, and that's what helped to tank the economy. So, in answer to that question, some of those Wall Street bankers need to go to jail because they did purposely basically defraud people that they were selling worthless securities to.
I don't believe anybody has really been indicted and gone to jail, which is pretty amazing because I'm sure there were some pretty bad moves made. I will say this. A lot of mistakes were made. You can't put a businessman in jail because he made a bad business decision. You know, they want to do well. And for the most part, Wall Street bankers want to do well. I know so many of them. You know so many of them. They want to do well. They're good people like everyone else. Get a lot of money. I think they're paid too much money, but what are you going to do? I mean, you know, it's one of those things.
Does it ever
if they make a business mistake, you can't put people in jail. If they do something that they know is illegal and wrong, you got to put them in jail.
Does it ever surprise you that so many of your supporters are so angry at those banks because they feel the decks are stacked against them, and yet you're the guy they're supporting, and you're a guy who's been given every single advantage those banks can give to the wealthiest Americans?
Well, I have taken advantage of the banks probably more than any human being on earth. I love banks, right? I love banks, and I love fighting with banks if I have to. I mean, you know, it depends on what happens. The economy goes up, it goes down. But I found bankers to be very good people. I found them to be very honorable people. Generally speaking, they want to do what's right for the country. But
generally speaking, they want to do what's right for them and their shareholders, i.e. make as much money as they can, pretty much in any way that they can. And since you are a person of means and they have means, you guys get along real well. But let a regular guy walk into a bank with an idea but no means and see how fast they usher him out.
Again, you know, I've known some bad dudes. You've known some bad dudes, Matt. I mean, I've been at parties and I've seen you and I've seen these people in the same room as us. You know, there are some people out there that are not good people. For the most part, I have to say, though, Wall Street people, they're aggressive, they're tough, they're smart, and they bring a lot of money and a lot of jobs into this country.
Do you believe in raising taxes on the wealthy?
I do. I do, including myself. I do.
Willie, I'm with Ella Wald.
Yeah, but the tax plan that he put out there actually reduces taxes on himself and his wealthy buddies more than it reduces them on the middle class. Anyway, that's a bunch of clips on Donald Trump being Donald Trump.